Christine Paterson, and here in this short video I want to introduce a short online course that I want to run called The Art of Crossing Culture. Recently my husband and I were talking with a friend about the huge task that faces us in setting up an online training school. In the course of about an hour's conversation, Eric asked us a telling question. He said, "Ross, Christine, looking back over your decades of experience in international living, and granted the fact that you didn't receive any training for what you've done, what would you say now are the top 5 things you wish you had known before you went to Asia?" Wow, what a great question. This little presentation is my own basic answer. Ross, I'm sure, would have his own list. But for me, this list actually encapsulates the substance of a course I want to run. And these issues are what I'll be talking about, some of the topics that will be covered in that course. And let me say just here, if you would like to come on board for that course, or if what I say here in these few minutes resonates with you in any way, please do sign up to hear more. I intend to follow up with more content, as well as offering you the chance to belong to a community of people for whom this will be a meaningful quest. Okay, so let's drill down into this topic. 5 things I wish I had known before I went. Number 1, good closure makes for a good new beginning. Or putting it another way, finishing well helps you also to start well. I remember hearing someone make that statement a long time ago and thinking, how does that work? Surely there's no connection between the place you're leaving and the place you're going to. But there is a connection, and that connection is you. So here's the thing. You don't want to be struggling with regret after you arrive over there over the people you let down by not handing off your work well before you left. Or sad about goodbyes that you didn't say to people who matter to you. These things need to be tended to, as much as all the practical stuff that you have to do before you go. Remember, it's easier emotionally to be the one who leaves than the one who stays behind and deals with the gap that your leaving has left in their life. That works in both directions, going to the new culture in the first place and then returning to your own culture later on. It's not something that happens automatically though. It's far too easy, if we don't plan well, for us to leave like a whirlwind, moving into the future with great focus on the task ahead, but showing scant regard for the people that will miss us when we go. We have to be intentional to include them and celebrate them, even while we're moving ahead with plans that necessarily exclude them. It's not an easy task. All I know, though, is that if we fail to do this, we will feel hampered in our new start. And believe me, this is not something I have a good track record in. I do have regrets about that. We'll be discussing this on our course. Number 2, more than I realize, I am the product of my own culture. And that can create problems, unforeseen problems in the new culture. So our second module in the course will focus on this topic at some depth, and we'll check out our assumptions and beliefs about the right way to do things. Often, we're completely unaware of how our own socialization influences the way we do life and the values and judgments we make about others who do life differently. This shows up hugely when we arrive in a new culture. Danger signs to watch out for. A tendency to reject what is different from the way it is at home. Wanting to enforce our own ways of doing things as correct. And above all, we need to watch out for the things we tend to criticize or ridicule in the new culture. Okay, number 3. 2 parts to this one. The first part, in the new culture, I will be impacted too in very distinct ways. That's what's known as culture shock. I view culture shock as a journey between 2 mountain peaks. One being my own culture, where I belong and feel comfortable, and the other being the new culture, which is as yet a mystery. In between, there's a valley involving pitfalls and dangers and sheer hard slog. Not everyone navigates this valley successfully, but the challenge of it can be an adventure that draws you on. In this course, we will talk quite a bit about the anatomy of culture shock and what it takes to navigate through it. And then the second part, reverse culture shock on returning home, is also a real thing. Often people assume that going back to base after an assignment will be completely straightforward and nothing to worry about. After all, are you not just returning home? Well, yes, you are, but in the same way as you can never step into the same river twice, you will be a different person after all you have been through. And also, the people in the situation you are returning to will also have changed. That can make for some unwelcome surprises, which it is good to be prepared for. We need to talk about this issue as well. Number 4, I need support for my endeavour of navigating a new culture. Where and how can I find that? This topic brings us full circle to the first issue, how vital it is to have good closure with the important people in our lives before we leave. Why? Well, among other reasons, we need their support and understanding. We need to bring them along with us on our journey and keep them on side with us in what we're going through. This is something we strongly encourage for anyone going into a new culture. Find a core group of friends and family members who will support you and be a sounding board for you and provide feedback when you're struggling. Then you need to look for support in other quarters too. A culture coach maybe, someone who has been through what you're going through and can give you some valuable insights. Local friends who will explain the inexplicable and help you gradually to understand. If you are open and willing, they will be an invaluable resource. A community of like-minded people who can encourage you. That's what we hope to provide in our online community. Others who will be at a different stage and are probably working in a different culture, but who can encourage you and cheer you on. Number 5, your choices impact your children in unforeseen ways. Of course, you may not have kids, but if you do, you need to know that they experience things differently from adults. They have the capability to enter a culture and learn a language much more easily than their parents, but they may also feel deeply the loss of their former life. They may blame you for the discomfort and disorientation they are feeling. Embracing a new culture may come more easily to them, but going through the process will also permanently alter their identity. From now on, life for them will be, even more than for you, will never be the same. So on the course, we'll be looking at terms like third culture kid and global nomad, helping you to think through the implication of your choice to move abroad as it might impact on your kids. There are some definite upsides to this, but there are also some very real challenges. We need to look at what those are. Okay, so there you are, you have it in a nutshell. 5 things I wish I had known before I went. In actual fact, I didn't know half of this for many years, not until I attended a seminar in Singapore in the late 90s and heard some of these issues talked about for the first time. For me, that was the beginning of a journey, a quest into self-understanding. I'm not actually aware of ever having heard the term culture shock before then, yet I immediately recognized the symptoms and effects from personal experience. I also recognized myself with a huge surge of emotion as a third culture kid and saw the need to embrace that identity in order to move on more fully. Okay, so once again, please leave us your details. And if you're interested in this course, let us know and show us any way that we can help you as you move forward. Here is the link for doing that. Thanks for listening and do join us.